Welcome to DTV Antenna Primer Part 2. In this section we discuss do-it-yourself versus store-bought antennas and show how to mount them. Now my first antenna was made in 2007 using the instructions from this YouTuber. You can see it's just swinging in the wind here, it's hanging from the rain gutter. These are the hooks from two coat hangers which have been twisted together. This is almost exactly what the guy shows you how to make, and it sat there all summer in 2007 and we did great with it. So as the fall and winter approached, I took it down and mounted it directly to a corner board. But these are the elements. We have a broom handle right here, because this is maybe 30 inches, 28 inches tall. We have 4 pipe clamps. You can see there's a pipe clamp here, matched to the size of the broom handle, looks about a 1 inch. There's a pipe clamp here. There are 2 more pipe clamps behind this piece of wood. This is a 1x4, there's one back there, there's one back there. That's how this piece of wood is attached to the pipe clamp. I have lots of rotation. I could rotate this antenna and get it adjusted just right. This antenna lasted about 5 years. It worked great. But then I painted the trim of the house, as we'll see shortly, and when I went to put it back up, it was so rusty, I ended up buying a commercial antenna. I replaced the broomstick with a piece of PVC pipe. You can see it right here. Let's zoom in a little. There are end caps on the end of the pipe. One top, one bottom, and the purpose of those caps is to keep insects from building a nest inside that pipe and to keep water out. The pipe itself is held to the house with 2 pipe clamps, stainless steel screws. There's one on either side. Here's the second one. And then to the pipe I have a piece of 1x4. This is actually a plastic 1x4. You can see how long it's been there just from the mold that's also caught itself on this side. And the 1x4 is held to the pipe with pipe clamps as well. There's a pipe clamp here screwed into the back of the 1x, and there's a second clamp right here screwed into the back of the 1x. Then the antenna is attached to the 1x4 with stainless steel screws right here. Now, normally there's a U-bolt here, and the U-bolt is meant to clamp directly to the mast. But I didn't use a mast, and since this is so tight to the house, there wasn't really enough room to attach the U-bolt. So I elected to use a piece of 1x4, and instead of using the U-bolt, I just used stainless steel screws here. Now there's another way to do this. Instead of using a single PVC pole, I could have made a little rectangle. Didn't occur to me though at the time. We'll see that in my neighbor's installation coming up next. So just bear that in mind, that there is another way to mount this to the corner board. Now once you get it mounted, the coax just screws into a fitting right here. When you know your length, you can buy these pre-made with the ends already on them. Note that the coax comes down. It used to go this way, but I think I had some water got into my wire and I just quickly replaced it, so it's not neat like it had been. It goes down. This is my electric meter, and we come to this fitting. Let's see what this is. This is a ground block with surge protection. So from the antenna we come in here. This is the input, and then from here we have another coax that goes into the house and feeds the TV. Now the function of this block is to shunt if there were any difficulty in a storm, or if it were hit by lightning, then we're grounded. So I have a piece of wire here. This is 12 gauge solid copper wire. And let's see where that goes. Actually goes under the shingles. You can see a piece of it right here. It comes out, goes right to this ground rod. The same ground rod to which the electric meter is grounded. This would be the landline telephone, even though it's long gone, the wires are still here. And this green one, that's coming off the cable company service. So we have cable, telephone, electric company, and our DTV antenna all grounded to this ground rod. Now here's my neighbor's installation. This is the south side of his house. Here's his electric service coming down. South side. So he can't mount it the way I did because his antenna would be pointing the wrong way. So here's northwest again. And he made this little frame out of some PVC. You can see he's got 4 elbows and just 4 lengths of PVC. Now how big should this frame be? Well, in his case, he's going to swing the whole antenna around, get it outside the house. So as long as these dimensions are about half of each, you should be okay. It's not critical. Now here's the U-bolt. Now you remember I replaced the U-bolt with stainless steel screws. You can see why, because these pieces would be digging into my corner board. So another way that I could have done it was to make a much smaller frame than this. I wouldn't have needed such a big frame because I didn't have to swing all the way around the house. All right, here's another view of the antenna. You can see his coax coming down. His ground block is a little different. He's got a ground block right here on the corner board. And you can see his number 12 ground wire coming up. Goes this way right to a ground block on the bottom of his electric meter. And this green one, that is of course the cable company's ground. Now in the 12 years that we've been doing this, we've endured hurricanes and blizzards. These corner board mounts are not affected. Unlike roof antennas that almost always come down or are damaged in severe weather, these hold up perfectly well. Even though they're simply fastened to the house with 4 stainless steel screws, the weather doesn't seem to bother them. They look just as good today as the day we put them up. Now this was the first double antenna that we put up in the neighborhood, and I want you to notice that we did make a mistake. This double is held by 2 U-clamps. There's one here and there's one here, 2 U-bolts. We failed to take that into account, and we initially made the frame a little too short, and we had to extend it with these. And you can see the extensions, they didn't get painted because that was the day we were putting it up, and it's never been painted since. So learn from our mistake, and if whatever antenna you're putting up has 2 U-bolts, make sure you make your frame tall enough to accommodate. So other things to take away from this section: stainless steel screws so that you don't have any rust. Make absolutely sure that you paint your pipe clamps because they're just galvanized, and if you don't paint them, they're going to rust as well. We're so happy with this. I hope that this encourages someone to mount it similarly. You don't need a big extension ladder. These are roughly 7 feet off the ground, so a little 6 or 8 foot household step ladder is all you need. You don't have to get up on the roof. It works really well. 12 years of experience show that, in my opinion, this is the way to go. So that pretty much summarizes installation details. In the next section, we're going to look at how to connect the coax to your TV and show you how to scan for channels. So thanks for watching, and on to part 3.